Well, it's good to visit with you all again. I guess in your new meeting location. Is this where you guys meet now?
For a while.
For a while, yeah. Good. Well, I've been honored to represent you the last year and a half in Congress. I'm certainly not one of the guys that's been there for 25 years or anything like that. God help me. I've been there that long. I'm really honored to do this work for a while. I was successful in the private sector. I really enjoyed founding and running several public charter schools that I started. But a lot of my frustration with policies at the federal level at the time, the wrongful invasion of Iraq and occupation of Iraq, federal education policy, which got in the way of us, the charter school that I was running, delivering the services that we wanted to run, as long as with my vantage point on the State Board of Education, where you elected me to for 6 years, really got in the way of a lot of what we needed to do to improve student achievement, provide hope and opportunity to all kids in Colorado. So that led me to run for Congress, and my work there is not yet done. I wish it was. I'd be happy not to run again, but we have a long way to go. We have a broken immigration system. Unfortunately, it's every bit as broken today as it was a year and a half ago when I went there. This Congress has completely failed and hasn't passed a single law to replace our broken immigration system with one that works. And it's really it's a dishonor to us as Americans to have a system that encourages lawlessness, violates the rule of law. 12, 15 million people here illegally, employers hiring people under the table, no workplace authentication system. We have an immigrant detention center in Aurora, been there twice. We are basically taking people who are here illegally and then we're putting them up at $120 a night taxpayer expense for 6 months frequently. That's right, and that's what we're doing right now. That's how long. So I mean, there are so many ways the system is broken. Also on the other end, you know, by the way, one of the ways America needs to remain competitive is attracting the best and brightest from around the world. We're graduating kids with advanced degrees from CU, you know, in physics, engineering, and then they're not allowed to work in this country. And then we wonder why they're going back to other countries, and the jobs are following them there. So they're going back to India, China, England, and that's where the jobs are following them, and that's where American companies are setting up overseas subsidiaries because they can't even get the permission to stay here. One of the proposals that I support is staple a green card to every advanced degree that a foreign national gets with a student visa. I also authored a piece of legislation around creating a new category of visas for entrepreneurs, foreign entrepreneurs that have raised $500,000 in venture capital and can deploy it. We want them to come to America to start their company. So we would give them a special, and I've talked to people who wanted to start their companies here. One ended up starting a company in Brazil instead because he couldn't get a visa to come here, and now employs 150 people. Well, guess what? That would have been right here in Colorado if we'd been able to get the right permission to do it. But people just throw off their arms at it. It's an inhumane system. It divides families. It's bad for all of our public authorities. I understand the frustration of states like Arizona or counties. And it's really a federal responsibility, so I will continue to push to replace our broken immigration system with one that works. I'm also working hard to improve our public schools. I'm using the experience that I got on the State Board of Education, the experience I had running a charter school for at-risk youth, and taking that to Washington. Has anybody here seen the movie Waiting for Superman yet? Okay, well, I'm going to give us all a little assignment. I encourage you to see it. I know it's showing in Denver and Boulder. It might very well be showing in some theaters in this area too. But this is a documentary for mass consumption, so it's a very good film. And it's about the crisis in education. It's about the fact that too often there's teachers that persistently fail their students. There's no progress, and yet they stay there year after year. It's about the fact that we know what works. We have examples of schools that serve at-risk families, whether it's low-income families, minority families, and yet they exceed the results. There's one right near here in Westminster, the Ricardo Flores Magone Academy. This is a school, it's a charter school. Some of them are also district schools, by the way. It doesn't have to be a charter school. There's also good examples of schools run by districts. But Ricardo Flores Magone Academy is 80% free and reduced lunch, 90% English language learners. On the 3rd grade CSAP, 100% proficiency in math, 92% proficiency in reading. So this is a school that is exceeding the performance of some of the wealthy suburban schools in Cherry Creek and Boulder, the elementary schools. Every kid takes chess, every kid takes tennis. It shows that it can be done. They have an extended day, they have a passionate staff. One of the bills I've sponsored at the federal level is the All-Star Act to provide for the federal government to partner to expand proven models that work for kids, whether they're innovative charter schools or district schools or magnet schools, what we need to do more of. We also need to intervene and change what isn't working in public education. For America to be competitive, We need to get our human capital policy right, and that's one of my top priorities. That means education and immigration. There's two ways we have, the net worth of our country is our people. That's why we need to invest in our people. The two ways we develop our human capital: grow our own, develop the best and brightest through our education system, and immigration, import the best, brightest, hardest working from around the world to deploy their talents to make America great. I also ran for Congress because I was against the war in Iraq. I continue to be very skeptical of the war in Afghanistan. I voted against the escalation of troops there. There is a very real terrorist threat against this country, no doubt about that, through Al-Qaeda and their supporters, but it's a stateless menace. You can't win by occupying country one, country two. What's next? Invade Yemen? Invade another country? Invade Pakistan? They just go somewhere else. So what you need is a lighter footprint. You need aggressive intelligence gathering, targeted special operations against the terrorist apparatus wherever they are. And I continue to support those efforts rather than getting bogged down in one particular conflict that has very little to do with the global war on terrorism. My name is Jared Polis. My website is polisforcongress.com, and I'd be honored to be your choice for United States Congress. Thank you.